that's recording too. All right. Sweet. Don't say anything or get you cancelled, and you should be sweet.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what if I say something really stupid? He goes,
Join the club.
He goes, just ask them to edit it out. It's fine. It's like, I don't feel like they edit stuff.
Nah. I've been stitched up a few times. If it's real bad, we'll beep it out, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll try and make note. But fuck, one time, like, me and him having, like, a brainstorming session, like, near the end of an episode, and I left it in.
So it was like 5 minutes of us just talking absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
But it's funny, though. You get into it, and people were like, oh, and they'll just sit there and listen to it anyway. So you're like, oh, well, may as well keep yarning.
Yeah, but, yeah, it was funny because it's chill, but then at the end of it, we're, like, figuring out how to come back into the episode. So he's like, so you say this, and then I'm going to say this. And we're like,
and
we're back.
Yeah,
actually.
100% what happened. So, you fucking losers.
That's me. I go off on a tangent. Like when we have our Taurus members page and I post something and someone would just put an emoji down the bottom like popcorn or like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. And fuck, honestly, I just roll off for so far. I'm like, someone pull me back. Like, I don't even know what I fucking was here to talk about now.
Fucking happens.
I'm
That's
terrible.
good though. If you get on one of those here, just go for it.
Yeah.
Makes our job easier.
We like that stuff.
No, because we'll be here. And he's like, I don't even know what the question originally was.
Yeah, so what's your favourite colour, Leish? Fuck.
So, and it'd be like a one-word answer, and that's all that I needed.
I reckon we leave this bit as an intro. That was quite good. Anyway,
Yeah. We'll leave it in there. Okay.
You go, bro.
All right, kia ora team, and welcome to episode 41 of Yarns with Beef and Matt, brought to you by LS Katie and Frog Grips. I'm Beef.
I'm Matt.
And joining us today, she is the ex-owner of CrossFit Taurus, semi-finals athlete, Leish Martin. How are you, mate?
They remembered my name this time.
Straight into it.
There we go. Had to say it.
All right, I'm Travis. Leish. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember
Well,
your
to
names.
be fair, Kirst didn't even get a mention either.
Kirst,
But Regs.
Regs cracked it.
but my man Regan.
He
Hey,
cracked
all the
it.
best to Torian, Regan.
Regs is top dog. Regs is team El Capitan.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
look,
shit, yeah.
you know, let's move on, eh? How's your morning been, mate?
No, it's been good. I actually have just coached a class in Mama Fit, so got through that, and ladies did some little extras after, and now they're probably still at coffee, and they'll probably be at coffee till like 1 o'clock.
Oh, how good.
stuff.
Just hanging out.
One of your members, I told her I was coming here, Holly Hucker. She,
Oh, yes, because they came from City SA.
yeah, they did.
in
She
Devon.
said it was at 11. She's like, oh, you should join the Mama Fit class while you're there. So I just missed out on it, but
You should have. It was a great
Yeah.
one.
yeah,
Yeah, mamas are all pretty chill, actually.
yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we do more talking than working, but they're great. Honestly,
those
they're,
ones.
they're such a good time.
It was funny, I put up a bit earlier than you, and I asked the girls at the front, I was like, is Leish around? And they're like, yeah, she's upstairs doing her hair.
Wait, honestly, I was like, right, have you guys got any more questions? Because I look homeless and I'm not really keen to do a podcast looking in the state that I do right now.
Oh, it's too easy.
There's
Oh,
no
good
time in the
fun.
morning once you get here to drop the kids off and
Yeah.
get your shit together.
How many kids you got now?
I got two.
2.
Kids. Frankie's 5 and she's just started school. And Banks is 2, almost 3 in August. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
How good.
Just quickly, before we get into it, yeah, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, because once I joined the CrossFit space, I've been hearing Leish Martin. I've never actually met you. So.
Things, not bad things.
Oh, good things, even all the way over in the Bay, just all over the New Zealand CrossFit scene, so it's good to finally meet you.
Oh,
hard
you
out.
through properly,
One of the OGs. I've watched you compete twice now. Once at Torian, once at Broadbeach for that.
Oh, Oz Champs.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah. Yeah, so
The person who was just hanging out the back by the IRBs being like, don't leave me. The shark's probably going to pick me off because I'm like the last one in the water. Oh, that was horrible, man. And there was Ellie Turner, actually. That's the first year I met her. And she was in the water too. And she was like, that was horrible.
Hate
We were
it.
like just bobbing around. I had my goggles around my neck by that stage. I was just got to finish.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure so many people behind me have just got pulled out of the water. So,
yeah, it was pretty horrendous. Yeah,
yeah, I've never swum and surfed like that ever. I was petrified, to be
Yeah.
honest.
that's all good. I was too busy getting photos of like Rob Forte.
Yeah.
Alex
the
Smith.
big- all
Alex
the
Smith
big-
was there.
Playing big time.
Leish is drowning. It's all good.
You guys-
Alex Smith, what are you up to?
I'm pretty sure I ran up the ocean. I ran up the beach and my mum was there like tears in her eyes. Like, I'm not going to lie, I thought you were going to just drown.
Oh,
So,
no.
I know. That was a bit of an experience, to be fair.
Anyway, let's get stuck into it. So let's throw it back to the young Leish Martin growing up. What was she doing? Where was she from?
I'm actually from Christchurch down in Otatahi. So I have, how long have I been here? 10, maybe 12 years now. But yep, I'm originally from Christchurch, and I left like 16, 18 probably I left there. What did I do down there? Studied a lot of gymnastics, got a gymnastics background, so I think I started that at like 4.
Okay.
And finished up gymnastics at 16 when I found touch, and then played touch for, I don't know, till maybe another mid-20s maybe. And then after touch, after a big comp, I was like, cool, kind of finished with touch now, and wanted to do something different, and then had slowly started to find CrossFit in between that, and then so shifted from gymnastics to touch to CrossFit.
Okay.
And somewhere in between there, decided to pick up weightlifting. But I mean, I feel like anyone who does CrossFit kind of does weightlifting anyway.
You
so
get there
kind
eventually.
A little bit hand in hand.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Were you playing quite competitive touch then?
Yeah, yep. So I must have, my first, I played for like Canterbury kind of growing up, and you're like, Dad, my old man, he's loved touch. He's like in the over 60s now, and he's still playing touch, and his boys are like going over to Australia for a comp, so he brought us through from little with that. And my brother and my sister both played. Yes, I played, biggest one would have been World Cup. I played in the World Cup. And I don't even know what year that was. 2015 maybe, years ago. And I played women's predominantly before that, open women's, maybe like 4 or 5 series for New Zealand. And then after that, we had a coach change, which I was gutted because it was going into the World Cup year. And the coach that we had the year before, Bernie, he's actually an Australian coach, but he was probably the best and most, the greatest mindset I'd had as a coach, and he was just so different to anyone else. And we had him one year, and we did really good. And New Zealand Women's has never won a Trans-Tasman series against Australia. And we must have won the first one, and then they won the second one, and then the third one we were winning very close to the end. And then the last kind of few minutes, they got 2 up on us, and it was gutting. So, but that was my favourite New Zealand touch team that I'd ever played for. And then the next year they changed the coach for the World Cup, and the new coach dropped half our team and changed complete dynamic. So they went into a different one. So I ended up jumping into an open mix team. Never played mix except for social, so that was a little bit different.
How does a mix work? How many male, females is that?
3 and 3, 3 males, 3 females.
Okay.
So, that was real different. And trying to catch a long ball, I was like, I've never had to catch a long ball and dive into a corner as a winger. So that was different too. And defending was way different as well. So, no, that was good. That must have been Coffs Harbour, I think. Yeah, so that was touch was done and dusted after that. And then I'm pretty sure I moved into, CrossFit after that. Really, I think I must have done a little bit here and there. I must have been doing CrossFit for a little bit before that, but not massive. And then I kind of somewhere in the middle also got into rugby. 56 kgs. Yeah, who plays rugby at that? Probably not my smartest idea. My collarbone's still not that happy with me, my AC joint, because of that year of rugby. But I met heaps of people through that as well, and actually ended up, I don't even know how I managed it, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know the rules or really what I was doing. Of rugby.
Jump on, have a crack.
Yeah, pretty much. One game we played at the Cape Town in Wellington, and I had been training as like a halfback, and then someone got injured pretty soon on, and they chucked me in that wing, and I was like, awesome, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is like a televised game. And I walked onto the field, I remember, and I was like shitting myself. And I just bent down to tie up my shoelaces and looked around the field, because I was like, I've got no idea where I'm supposed to stand. And I heard one of the girls in the back, she's like, Leish, over here. I was like, yeah, sweet, I'm coming.
Yeah, of course.
No clue, absolutely none. So that was a bit of an eye-opener.
Who were you playing for?
I played for Waikato then. So I played for Marist. And then played for Waikato, and then don't know how I managed like into the women's like NPC or whatever, like the women's version of it. But like I barely got on. Like I was on the bench and kind of just came on final minutes of the game or whatever. But being part of that team was cool. I met so many people through that as well. And then we made the finals actually that year. Played for the last bit of the finals. Pretty sure we lost, I think. Actually, To be honest, I don't even remember.
Just trying to figure out where to stand.
Yeah. and then I got crushed in a game playing. I must have just been for Maris, and I had like a big prop fall on me, and I did my AC joint. And after that, I couldn't. Like, it still gives me trouble now. And I was like, yeah, that's probably the end of my rugby career. So it was like, I don't know, year and a half maybe, and
Yeah.
that was the end of rugby.
Far out.
That takes me back to when we played Raglan when I was playing for TA College, just trading war stories here. And they had this big Fijian prop, and the same thing. He took it off the tap, ran it straight at me. I was like,
run around me, run
yeah,
around
yeah.
me.
So I'm just going to land him as best as I can, and he drops his head, and I get his head bang on my collarbone. It's never been right since.
Yeah, they reckon ACs and collarbones are shit, clavicles, and because they don't operate on lots of ones that get like broken, so then you're kind of stitched up for life.
Yeah, it was sore for ages. I didn't even go to the doctors. I was just like,
No.
harden up.
One of those, it'll come right, it'll get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, probably should have gone to the doctors.
Maybe something was wrong.
Oh, gutted.
No, I was just good at rugby, sort of. Never got injured.
You knew where to stand on the wing.
Pass me the ball and tick, 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 just in for the corner.
Nah, man. Nah, I did rupture my MCL, but. Nah.
You played rugby properly, like a lot of years of rugby, or not so much?
Oh, you never like a high level.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
But
just.
still, like, high level's competitive.
Oh,
man.
100%.
So many
Yeah,
people.
oh, mate, it's unreal. Yeah, and I was pretty small. I'm still pretty small now. I was definitely small then, but yeah, back my pace. So I stayed away from contact. Holy shit.
Winger. Me, just pass me the ball.
Yeah. Anyone that's ever seen me play, they're like, yeah, he never saw a tackle. I didn't.
Hey, TA Maris, just as competitive in the club rooms afterwards.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
Actual.
Always won the boat race. So CrossFit comes around after rugby, during rugby. When did you? Because you're quite highly, if you guys don't know, at least look her up. Very high, like you've gone to the high heights of CrossFit as far as regionals and sanctionals go. How far into that journey did you decide that you could make a good go at being competitive?
You know, I don't know that I've ever made a good go of being competitive, to be fair.
Well, we reckon you have.
I was living in Sydney for a bit, and I think I was kind of dropped into like a few random classes, and I remember one of them, I can't even remember what the CrossFit gym was called, and they were doing ring muscle ups, and I had like a gymnastics background. I'm like, I'm sure I can do that. Like, surely I can do it. Went up, wow, not even close. And I was like, okay. And you know, like you do something, you're like, I want to be able to do that. And so I think after that, I was quite keen to get into it, but living in Sydney and my lifestyle at the moment kind of didn't allow for any CrossFit really. It was like the odd kind of time that I'd go, and then must have moved back to New Zealand and was living with some friends when I came back. I'd been away overseas for a few years, and then a little bit. And then they were like, oh, why don't you come down to a CrossFit gym and do a CrossFit class with me properly, because I'd kind of not really gone into it properly. And she took me into a class, and I died, honestly. I was like, oh, yeah, this looks easy. You know, like you see something on paper, and you're like, oh, this isn't even hard, it'd be sweet. And I was so far behind. Like, it must have been an 800-metre run. Everyone was back, and I was just, like, toddling out the door. And that was at CrossFit Te Rapa, actually. And I went there a few times, but then she said Ben Mills, who was the original owner of 3216, was opening a gym, a new gym, 3216. And so I kind of waited it out and didn't really go back that often. And then when he opened that, that was really me starting CrossFit. And it was between rugby, so kind of just like side hustle sport. Kind of liked it, kind of getting into it, but not anything serious. And I must have done that for, I don't know, a year or so. And then that's maybe a year and a half after that, my now husband Riggs, that's when we got together. And not long after that, we kind of had this random conversation, and we're like, oh, should we move to Europe? So like very soon on to our relationship, we're like, oh well, sink or swim. Like if it doesn't work, we come home or we split up or whatever. And if it does, sweet. And so Riggs came home. He must have heard something on the radio, and it was like he came home and said something about, you know, like if I don't live anywhere else, I've only ever lived in Morrinsville and Hamilton. And I was like, that's a little bit depressing.
Yeah, branch out.
Let's pack your bags and let's go. And so we were like, screw it. And everyone was like, oh, is this not a little bit early? We're like, nah. So we moved over and we're like, let's get into CrossFit when we got there. And so we got into CrossFit over in London. Used to be Into, now it's called Gymnasium. And still played touch over there, chilled, travelled, you know, whatever. And then it's when we moved back a year and a half or 2 years later. And I was like, okay, let's actually start getting into CrossFit because I didn't have touch anymore and I didn't have rugby anymore. But I was like pushing shit uphill every day, trying to front squat like 35 kgs.
Oh, man.
And I just had no strength. And so I was like, oh, I better get a little bit strong. Anyway, I did a CrossFit for a little bit. And then that's when like James Connew was around and Bix as well.
Yeah.
And they were just unreal. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever be good like that. But at 3216 for a bit. And then we left there and went to Te Rapa. And it was probably under Fee, actually, that I started to push a bit more and get into weightlifting to get a little bit stronger. And then was like, right, I need to do some programming. And must have run into like Commie and Tolls at a comp somewhere. Potentially, Two to Tango? And then kind of started talking to them and they kind of got me onto their program, started to do that. And then, that's probably when I started to actually get into CrossFit properly. And, but kind of a little bit boring training by yourself, doing stuff. So then I made Riggs kind of train with me, and then Bears kind of came along, and then Bears kind of trained with us, and then Herbie was kind of there, so then Herbie kind of trained with us, and then it was like this little wee crew, which was good.
Yeah.
And then, I guess that's when I must have got into it then. But I think I'd only probably start to get semi-decent and like kind of got everything. Probably still couldn't even really do rings and stuff properly. And then I tried for Torian, actually. And it was my first Torian, but it was still at the actual Torian gym.
Oh, okay.
When it wasn't like a semi-final or anything like that. And then that was my first big comp. And the week before that, I found out I was pregnant. I was like, awesome. And so then we were like, okay, I'm not that far through. It's totally fine. Went over and I just felt so sick and rubbish. And I was on the floor looking up at Riggs and I was like, why am I doing this? Like, this is shit. And he's like, just keep going. Like, you're fine, keep going. And I was worried because had you seen those ones that they had that massive wall that one year and you had to like climb up and over it? Anyway, it was one of those. And I was like dragging my stomach over that. And I was like, I don't know if this is the goods. But anyway, potentially not because that wasn't my pregnancy with Frankie, so I lost that baby a week later. And blamed CrossFit for quite a while for it, which obviously it wasn't. But and then I think after that, I tried to like push and get into CrossFit a little bit more competitive. And then I got pregnant with Frankie, so that kind of stopped. Had Frankie, and then tried to make a little comeback after that. And then kind of got back into it, and I had another couple pregnancies between that. Didn't eventuate, so then it was kind of back and forward with CrossFit. And then Banksy, so Banks came into the picture, and then more pregnancies after Banks. I don't know, CrossFit's kind of, it's never been, you know, like people start CrossFit and they're like, this is it, me CrossFit, and it's just like exponential growth and it goes. I feel like I kind of never really had that. It was like a little bit of CrossFit, in a pregnancy or a baby, a little bit of CrossFit, pregnancy and a baby, and it's kind of just gone like that. And this is probably the longest stint I've had, although maybe not. I've probably had since my last pregnancy, just not even a year back at it. Must have been 8 months maybe. So, I know, like high level CrossFit kind of just came in between stuff, and it was very like short, like I've got until here and then I'm probably going to have a baby. So train a little bit harder and then do a competition and then be like, oh, whatever happens after this kind of happens. But I think I've only I did maybe like 2 New Zealand nationals, maybe, Indy Nats. And then I was gutted. It was the year COVID came in. It was when it went to sanctionals, and I did, what was the one? Oz Champs.
Broadbeach, Oz Champs.
And then, it must have been Torian, and then Oz Champs, and then it was meant to come around and be Down Under, which has now come back because it stopped for a little bit. And they were going to be a sanctional event too, but it was not even far out from it, and they cancelled it because of COVID. So I was gutted with that, and then I think Frankie must have been young then. I think
that was 2020, the beginning of 2020.
Hard to remember all the years,
because fucking a week after Broadbeach is when Jacinda was like, we're closing
COVID.
the borders.
Yeah, that's right, because we got back.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to stay at home for the week because we were in that,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that time frame was for being overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I must have, the second Torian, it must have been, I took Frankie with me, and she must have been 7 months, and I went indie. But so I think all of the comps that I've done as an individual, I've never probably been at a peak.
Right.
Because I've always been postpartum or post a pregnancy that hasn't gone through or something, you know. So it's been like a 6 month lead up, or I think, Frankie must have come to my second Torian, which was at Torian. At the Pat Rafter.
Yeah.
And that was the year they did the open announcement. They announced the open, and that day we had to do it on the floor.
And it was that weird open workout
that
you could do it in any order you wanted. Yeah. Real shit for spectating, but it was
the rowing, the rings, and the wall balls.
Choose something.
The wall balls, ring muscle ups, and rowing.
40 rings, 80 wall balls, 120 cal row maybe.
Yeah. So like most of us just went row wall balls and then looked at the rings. And then, I
think I did mine in like 2s or something.
Yeah.
2s or 3s. I might have started with like a big set and then was like, we're going small after this.
Yeah.
So I think, Frank came with me at 7 months there.
Yep.
And then, she must have come to Oz Champs, and then was supposed to be down under, and then it was obviously COVID and everything kind of changed after that a bit.
Just to sort of angle away from CrossFit a bit, and like, if you don't want to talk about it, it's totally fine, but how's your mindset during all of that? Like pregnancies, losing babies, having the 2 you have now. What's your mindset like there, even being able to get back in the gym? And
it's real funny, eh? I think sometimes you almost like, I know some people will be like, oh, you shouldn't think like that, but I think you almost get a little bit like, I'm pregnant and I can like still crush it, you know? Like obviously being smart in the way that you do it. And both my pregnancies were actually really different, but mindset wise, it's hard. You kind of have to be, no time's a good time, especially if like you're a high level athlete. You kind of just have to accept the fact like, yes, I'm out and that's going to be it. And I kind of set goals with Riggs and was like, I would like to do this comp and this comp, and then after that, I don't really mind what happens. We try to get pregnant, we don't get pregnant, it happens, and we kind of roll with it. And then probably I trained the whole way through, but with Frankie, she was our first, and I was like, I don't really know what to expect. So I was pretty chill with it, and like I couldn't run very early on, like even sometimes walking, I couldn't do that. I found heavy weights not too bad at the start, but like slowly got like heavier and heavier and that harder. But I could still do a lot of cardio stuff. I couldn't do, toes to bar early on. I couldn't row on a bike. As soon as I'd pull like my stomach, I got a real bad coning. But so after her, I honestly, like, again, I was back to pushing shit uphill, trying to squat a 35 kg bar, and I was like, this is a long road. And I honestly don't reckon I got all my strength back for like close to a year and a half, and even that still didn't feel like proper. So it was definitely, like I went into the first Torian, stepping out onto the floor with a little probably chip on my shoulder, being like, yes, I've made it, and I had to do a qualifier to qualify in the top 20 or 30 to get there, and it was, I pushed really hard cardio-wise because I just didn't have strength. And like, I think it might have been like a 1 RM clean after workout, and I got 76 kgs, and I was stoked with that. It was hard weight, and also I'm not very big. Like the only time I'd hit 60 kgs is if I'm pregnant. So mass versus mass, I always battle with that a bit. And then you kind of step out to the floor being like, I'm not in great nick. Like, I haven't trained, I'm still breastfeeding, I'm still not sleeping through the night. Like, my kids are 5, and if we get one full sleep through the night, it's probably like twice in a month, do you know? And like, me and Riggs have a little laugh. Like, when I ring him in the morning, my first question is like, hey, how did you sleep last night? Because it's like, we just chop and change. The other night, Riggs, he had a laugh. He must have gone to Bank's room, and I could hear Bank shouting out, I want mum. And so I was like, give it a minute. No, 5 minutes in, I still want mum. So I got up and was walking to Bank's room, and then I heard something on Riggs' side of the bed, and I was like, I'm sure Riggs is in there. And I must have like passed Frankie coming into our bedroom as I was going to Bank's room. So I got in there and then jumped into Bank's room for half a night, and then Riggs went back and goes, oh, Frankie was in my room. And then she must have gone back to her bed, And then I went back to my bed, and then I got up and Banks was in my bedroom, and I was like, honestly, it's our house is like this. Cool, who wants to be in whose bed tonight? So, yeah, you know, like you go into it being like, I've had no sleep, I'm not eating properly, like I'm so drained from, you know, any mother stuff. You know, some kids are great, some kids sleep all the way through the night. I'd really like those kids to teach my kids how to do that. It'd be great. But, you know, and you walk out and you're like, I know people have been training for this, and I'm doing like 4 classes a week.
Yeah.
You know, so you kind of always feel like you're one step back when you get out there, and you're going to give it your best, but you always feel like, man, imagine if I had trained, could I have competed? Like, could I have actually been way better and more competitive? And you feel a little bit gutting with that. And then and then I slowly started to come back after it. So it was Oz Champs, and then it was actually good because Oz Champs' first workout was that beach flags one. And I was like, I don't mind a little fast run, and a little dive from touch. Yeah. So that was good, but then it was a swim, and then I shat the bed. I think I got like a second, and then like a second to last. So how about you go average out in the middle somewhere?
Yeah, balance.
Yeah, and then, but still again strength, but my strength had probably come back a little bit more. But I'd probably never got back to peak, or if I'd got back, it was around injuries. Like, I don't think I've ever stepped onto the floor on a big stage and been like, I've trained for this. I've slept, I've eaten properly, I've done everything. Like, everything we do is, you know, not half-hearted. We're giving it our best, but it's just not the same lifestyle as potentially the top. A lot of people that are stepping onto the floor are like, yes, CrossFit's me. And I'm like, CrossFit's CrossFit. And it's like this part of our lives, not the bigger part. So that's, I think, mentally coming back from having kids, that's the hardest, is when you try to compete. Like, you got to know that the road's slow, and probably you might not ever get back, unless your name's Tia or someone, but I mean, they're the exception to the rule, and I don't feel like you can compare yourself to them. And everyone goes down such a big thing, such a different road. I think when I was pregnant with Banks, I was keen as to get back into training. And I started to write some little goals, like I'd like to get my squat to this, into the triple digits, which for me is still really hard. And, you know, things like that. And Reg says, he goes, I just don't want you to get upset if you try to think that's what's going to happen, and then your birth comes and your birth doesn't go how you plan. And then your whole plan falls to shit. And I said, I'm just going to hope, you know, and that's where my mindset needs to be, so I've got something to work towards. Yeah, but it's definitely... it's mentally taxing trying to compete. Well, high level. I've never considered myself really high level, to be fair. It's always, you know, because you're always on the back foot of it. Maybe if I'd found CrossFit before kids and had some time on it properly, would have been different.
That's a really cool perspective. Yeah, not like you're saying that. Like, you are obviously a high level athlete. You've been to the heights of semi-finals and that. But yeah, to hear that, having kids makes it feel like you're not ever competing at that high level. That's an interesting
it's kind of
way to take it.
It's weird. Like, you're competing, but you know you're not. Like, I'm like going it. To be fair, I guess that's what leads into Torian now as well. And the year that we went to Torian before, we had Banks and Frankie, and Katie was in the team, and Katie has 2 kids, and Baz was in the team, and Baz had a young child as well. And it's hard enough. Like, you think indie, going in, you've only got yourself to organise. But then when we had 4 people in the team, everyone's got kids, and trying to actually get a training together, I reckon honestly, we probably before the last touring we did about three team trainings, and that was it. And Katie was nursing a really bad back injury, so we kind of had to work around that too. But
is that Katie Presswell?
Yeah, Katie Presswell.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah, she was pretty close to making it actually back indie this year.
Oh, really? Yeah,
she was only... She must have been finished in 50th, I think, and obviously take top 40. Yeah, and that wasn't her intention, I don't think either. They were looking potentially to do team, and then that kind of fizzled a little bit.
Where's she training at the moment?
She's at Kotahi.
Oh, okay, still there. Yeah. Her and Kurt.
Yeah, and they're real good. They're good friends. So outside of the gym too. Yeah,
how good.
Well, because we did actually New Zealand Nationals with them last year. Well, actually, Katie was supposed to be in the team, but she got her back was sore 2 days before.
Bex.
So old Bex, Bex got the call up 2 days before, and she goes, no. And we're like, yes, you're doing it.
She's strong, man.
Yeah, and then look, we got second.
Strong,
well, we unofficially got second.
Yeah, those damn mixed teams there.
Yeah, 'cause, that was a little bit gutting.
Yeah.
But no, that was cool, and honestly, that was so much fun. That was great, and Bex did great too.
Has Kirst got kids?
Yep, Kirsty's got Geordie. So
again,
you
got another whole team of
now,
kids.
and it's like again, so like we know stepping onto the floor, we're going there, everyone's like, yeah, you guys are gonna, like have fun, crush Tori. I'm like, we're going there with the mindset of we're glad to be here.
Yep.
Like we're all, and I mean lots of people are as well. We're parents, people have got full-time jobs. I did have a full-time job now. I've had the last month obviously of not, which has been great. But we only really started team trainings. I think we might have done one before quarterfinals, just happened to be all be in class. I'm like, oh, should we get the worm out?
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. And then since then, trying to organise the 4 of us around work hours, around kids, and things like that, like especially Riggs and I as well. I mean, not easier per se, but we're both in here. So we've got to find somewhere for our kids to go, or our kids are upstairs and we're like holding the bag like, Mom, Betsy's something me. And we're like, oh, cool. Can you give us 4.5 minutes before our workout finishes?
Yeah.
And I mean, Teagues and Dills are the same. They've got a daughter as well, and both of them are in the team. I mean, Mecca as well. Jolene, she's got a daughter as well. So I think it's your priorities for CrossFit are very different to. We're going to Torian to compete. Yes, we're still competitive in nature, I guess, as well, but we are also realistic in the sense that we don't train 5, 6, 7 days a week, and we probably don't recover like we should, even though we're all a little bit older and crippled, and we're like, oh, we're nursing injuries, and we're not getting sleep, and like, so he'll probably tell me off for telling you this, but honestly, Riggs, I don't know how he does it, and he would train. We have this at the end of the year at the Taurus thing. It's got a attendance award. You have the 3 most attendance.
Yeah,
running
we do the
joke.
same.
Yeah, and so running joke. We've looked at Rig's attendance every year. Oh, how many classes did Regan do this year? I'm pretty sure he did 68 in last year, and like that's no open gym. Like the man would literally come to class 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And he's going to Torian.
Crazy.
He didn't choose to go to Torian. I signed him up and he didn't have a choice. I don't think he's ever actually signed into a team himself. Accidentally, to be fair, one year I accidentally signed him into New Zealand Nationals, but I put him in the female division. And his name didn't come up on the male thing. And he was like, you did not enter me. I was like, I did. And actually, it's on the female, so I'm going to message Gilly. But I don't even think he did the workouts. He's like, I'm not doing those. He's never done an individual comp in his life, and I don't think he ever will.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
But he kind of just gets dragged into it. I'm like, let's do Torian. And he's like, oh, I'm really busy at work then. I'm like, cool, it's too late because I've put your name down and I'd really like to do it with you. And that's where I guess that's different too. Like, potentially our team at the gym is like 4 mates. We hang out outside of the gym and we're like, oh, should we just have a little run at Torian? And actually, I didn't intend on doing Torian at all this year. I didn't intend on CrossFitting all of last year. I had no intention of CrossFitting this year. I intended to have a baby. And last year, we didn't do it because straight after quarterfinals, I got pregnant. And then I had to have a termination. So it's as hard as it is, it sucks. Because in my head, I was like, I've just wasted another year of, I now don't have a baby. And now I haven't trained. And I literally couldn't get off the couch for a month. During the process of a termination. And then it's like, now I'm back at square one and I don't actually have anything to show for it. Like, happy as if it's fine, I've got my baby, I'm back in the gym and whatever. But without it, that was a real stab, I think. And then trying to come back from that, we didn't have a team for New Zealand Nationals. I was like, I'm not doing Nationals this year, I'm not doing any CrossFit, I'm going to have a baby. And then we must have messaged Gillian and been like, oh, I'm not pregnant, may as well throw a team together. And that's when we hit up Kate and Kurt and Katie because I know they don't have enough elite athletes at their gym to make it, and most of our elite athletes were already in teams. Regan Martin obviously managed to slide under the radar and not be into a team, so I signed him up, and Kirsten didn't have a team. Trav was supposed to be away, so I told Trav he was in our team. And then we kind of just, and again, I think we did one training before Nationals. So how the hell we ended up coming second, I do not know.
Oh, man.
A little bit of experience, maybe.
Yeah, good chemistry experience. I mean, you're pretty easygoing people. Like, I can known Trav for a while now. He's probably one of the most easygoing people I've
until
ever
you
met.
have to run 4K with the man.
Oh, really? Just dragging you along?
Was not fit. he'll laugh at this too. So we got to the 4K mark and I was like, you're going to have to drag me for 4K. I know I'm not very fit. I've not done any training. My running's shit. And normally I'm like a pretty decent runner. And so we've got this band. I swear there was like, the band was stretched the entire way and he pretty much just dragged me. And I was like,
just put it around your waist.
Actually, I was blowing so hard. And I was like, just pull me with my eyes closed. And I can see the cone off in the distance of the turnaround. And I was like, Trev, 20 steps, can we just do 20 steps of walking, like just 10 steps there? I can't breathe. And I was like literally almost crying. And I was like, how fast are we running? And he goes, nah, not fast enough. And I was like, fuck. And so I said 20 steps and I tried to pull back on the rope and he pulled it forwards. So I pulled again and he goes, no, Leish, come on, you can do this. I'll just slow down. And so I tried to start walking and then I get this yank and it just pulled me. I was like, okay, we're obviously not stopping. We come around the thing and he goes, we'll go slower. He didn't slow down. And I was like, I'm sure we're running sub 5-minute Ks here, like please. And he just
You
dragged.
just got faster. What do you mean?
Actual. And then there's like a little hill at the end and he goes, pretty much, I was like, you've got to pull me. So he just pulled the rope up the hill and pretty much pushed me down the last bit and I just collapsed at the end. But yeah, and he's laughing. He goes, it was great this year because you couldn't tell anyone what to do because you weren't the fittest this time around. So you kind of had to just do whatever happened. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't have run that fast if it wasn't for him.
That run was horrendous. I did the 11K with Holly.
Did ya? No.
And like Holly is a gun runner, eh? And I was gutted I didn't want to talk to the team the whole day. I was like, use it.
Oh,
Like, because they knew it was
sure,
11K
sure.
before I was. I was like, I should be like 8K. Should be. And then when it was 11K, I didn't talk to him for ages. I reckon like
yeah,
hours.
it's far, eh?
And it was so hot. And like, to be fair, Holly never like tried to like pull me along or anything, but she's so good at running. And it just fucked me off because I'd look over and she'd just be like, yeah, it's all good.
She's cruising and you're
I'm
like,
just dying.
99.9%
Yeah.
here.
I was like, I'm max strain right now. And she's like, we're walking. I'm like, yeah. But nah,
It was so hot.
So hot.
And like everyone running, they'd go past and I'd be like, here's some water. I was like, oh, I feel stink for you. I feel so bad for you.
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
I seen all these
Well,
other
I
teams.
felt it. Maybe I didn't say it, but I was like,
All these other
right
teams
shit.
are getting their teammates pull over, water, all this
Lollies.
kind of stuff. I'm
Oh,
like,
you're
surely,
gonna come with
surely
me.
my team's they're just chilling in the fucking lake.
Oh, no. Oh yeah, nah. I think most of my crew was out there with the old water bottle.
I got a video of him on the run. I was doing media on the day, and there's like it was just for about 7 seconds. He's like, good form, smile, and then straight
Soon
back
as
to
the camera goes on,
straight
nah.
back to fuck. I hate my life.
Yeah, the drone going there. So I seen the drone going there. I was like, oh fuck.
And
this.
then the drone comes past. Yeah,
Nah,
CrossFit.
Yeah,
I hate my
I
life.
love my
this
life.
is awesome. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, Riggs always gets the short straw on that. He heads around the 11.
Well, I can't swim very well, so I was out of the swim, and I can't remember. Jason was on our team, and do you know Jason Ives? He's
Yeah.
And getting that man to run anything over a K is an issue. So I was like, well, he has to do the 4K. So yeah, I just didn't really have an option, but I was alright.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
all right
rough,
now.
man. Yeah, that was so long. But now they've said that there's another one this year, eh?
I haven't signed my team up yet. I will. I haven't not done nationals in years, so I know I will. But every year I'm like, no, I'm not doing it again. It's just too hard.
Well, that's me. I've said that. Well, my reason for doing it's different to yours. I'm like,
just
I'm
too
not doing
hard.
that. I'm going to have a baby. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
You
happens.
could have a baby.
Yeah, there you go. Use that. Just get pregnant.
Yeah. Okay.
There we see.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Easy.
Hey, Niv.
You're up.
Let's move this along, bro. I've done enough talking. Over to you, bro.
No, I was just thinking your guys' level of GPP is crazy for you to just be like, oh, let's just do Torian. It was pretty funny, and to take it back, there was a lot to unpack there. To take it back to like the crazy family life with the kids and stuff, that just made me think of Aiden. I don't know if you know,
Yes,
last year he did quarters. So, I mean, he talked about it on the potty, but I was also there when it happened. He did a quarterfinals workout in the morning.
And his baby was born in the afternoon, eh?
Went and had a child, and then came back in the afternoon and did another one.
And I'm like,
fuck.
I know, insane. And his kid, like, to be fair, we like messaged a little bit about like laughing about how his kids don't sleep either, and my kids don't sleep,
yeah.
and you're just like, like, you know. And so he's the same, you know, running a business, having kids, and just trying to keep your head above water, man, sometimes is so hard. I mean, that's literally the reason now that we chose not to have the gym.
Yeah.
And pass it over, like not a decision I wanted to make, but when you are sitting at your kids' swimming lessons and you're like, yeah, babe, I'm going to watch in a minute. Oh, I'm just sending an email, or it's late at night and Riggs comes home and his
Just can't
job
be
is
present.
Yeah, his job's so full on too, and we're fighting for the computer. I'm like, it's 9:30 at night. We haven't had dinner, and now we're fighting to get on the computer to both do work. And I was like, we're exhausted, you know. And and our kids still aren't sleeping, and now Frankie is at school and all of her day activities now have to shift into the afternoon, and Riggs is at work all day and he leaves the house at 5:30 in the morning, so we can't train in the morning, like one person come in the morning because they're gone, like he's gone, and then in the afternoon he's got to train because that's the only time he can. So if I don't train during the day, which sometimes I coach or whatever, you know, then it's in the night. And once you've got kids, you understand, like, night times is so hard. Like, your kids, if it hits past 4:30 and you haven't fed your kids, they are feral. Like, there's no going back from that. And, like, I know you're tired. And if you're at the gym training, you've either got to feed them dinner upstairs and then everything gets bumped out. And then after dinner, it's, you know, got to have a bath. And it's like dinner, bath, bed. You think that 3 things would be easy. But it's like a 5-hour process. And last night, Riggs didn't come home. I think he was home at 8:45 or something after coming to the gym. And I was like, he goes, well, how did Banks go? I said, he's taken me almost 2 hours to get him to sleep. Do you know what I mean? When you're trying to fit in trainings and thing around that, you know, our team expectation going into Torian, when we said it before we went, was like, there's no expectation. If we're like, cool, let's train on Wednesday, and someone goes, nah, can't, the kids are sick, or like Trav messaged, oh, Beck's got netball now, I can't make it. Sweet. No one gets shitty, no one gets grumpy, we just change it. If we don't train this week, we don't train this week. If it comes to Saturday and Sunday and people are like, oh, I want to spend some time with the kids, sweet, we don't train now.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's
it's
massive,
not, there's no expectation before anything. We've set nothing, no minimum training things. No, like, Riggs sometimes will be like, the other day, he goes, oh, it's Friday. He goes, how many times have I trained this week? He goes, once, twice. Do you know? So knowing that we're not training as much as the other teams, we know we're stepping onto the floor, not on the back foot, but we're happy in the sense that we know that's our reality, and we're not, you know, there's no false sense of security being like, oh, maybe we're going to crush this. And we're like, we probably haven't trained that much.
It's not like that's a bad thing. It's like you're still semi-finals athletes. You still made it to Torian. And if anything, like, the pressure's off. You can just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, we cracked it. Like, we made it, you know, and we trained. And to be fair, I guess most gyms have probably done it, but we were smart in the sense that it wasn't us that qualified us to quarterfinals. Like, our whole gym qualified us to quarterfinals. We used so many different scores to get us in there. Like, Bex and Carly's scores went in for the row double under workout. Me and Chris scores were nowhere near theirs. You know what I mean? And so we couldn't have got through unless our whole community banded together to get us into it. Marcel de Beer did great. Jason Wood put a score in. You know, like, everyone has helped us to get there. So it's not being just off the skin of our own backs at all. You know, like, and you get to the open and you have a bad workout, or like one weekend Kirst was sick at home for 4 days, and she goes, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I honestly was like, do one round and submit your score. Like, it doesn't matter. We don't need your score. Carly and Bex have smashed it. It's totally fine. Yeah. And then obviously once it got to quarterfinals, then yes, it was us that needed to do it to get through from there. And we probably screwed up a couple of workouts, to be fair. So yeah, potentially. One of them went pretty good, and a couple of them were like, ooh, we didn't do that properly. Live and you learn. But yeah, going into semis, we're like, it's hard to make it to semi-finals.
Yeah.
So like, exactly like you say, proud of the fact that we have got there, and honestly, we're happy just to be able to take to the floor and compete in that environment, as opposed to like people say, like, what's your goals? And I'm like, to get there and not be sick, and to get there and just, you know, not be super injured. Like, I'm nursing a pretty shit shoulder injury. Kirst worries about her back sometimes. Trav had a bit of a niggle in his elbow. Riggs is broken from his head to his toes every single day, but he'll laugh at that too, I hope. But you know what I mean? And like, we're not 20 years old. we know that Trav is the youngest.
I was
in
going to
our
say,
team.
Trav's in his 20s.
Yeah, Trav's like in his late 20s.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, me, Riggs and Kirst is a Masters athlete, and Riggs and I will be Masters athletes this year. So we're 35 and just hanging in there, and, you know, so... And I mean, it's pretty cool at our age to be able to, you know, still be able to do it. And Riggs always tries to take himself out of the team. He goes, why don't you just replace me? Like, it's totally fine. And I'm like, stop.
It's hard to replace.
I want to compete with my husband.
It's hard to replace someone like Regan. He's such a face of
Riggs,
Taurus,
the key guy, you know?
team. You know,
The
he's
key
that
guy.
glue that everyone remembers his name. So I think that's the key to a good CrossFitter.
You go onto the thing and Riggs will just talk himself down. Like, we did Metcon Madness with Katie and Baz one year, and Katie was like, what is their deal? You know, like the boys are out the back being like, bro, I can't even pick up 230s. Like, should we just do singles, you know? And they're like underselling themselves so bad. They get out there and absolutely smoke it. And I said to Katie, I was like, don't worry, they will be totally fine. Just wait, you watch them and then walk off. And, you know, like they don't want to say that, yeah, I could be semi-decent at that in case they fall short. Then they've got to explain it. You know, they're like, whatever, I don't care. You know, they're so chill like that.
Set the
And
bar
then they
low
go
and
out,
exceed
they
expectations.
set the bar low and
Yeah,
then they're
nice.
like, yeah, sweet. But they always manage to pull through. And, you know, people will be like, oh, I'm the weak link in this. And to be fair, for our team this time going around, I think each workout, probably one of us is like, oh, I'm probably going to be the handbrake on this one. And you know it, and like, you just do the best that you can going into that workout. So...
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's not across the board where it's one person, like their injury's so bad or something that they're like, every single time it's going to be me that has to be like, fuck, I'm holding the team up. You know, because that sucks. That's hard as like a person in the team.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, well, this is also part of our affiliate series
Yes.
as an affiliate owner. So I did want to take it down to when along the journey did you guys decide you wanted to own an affiliate?
So Riggs probably never. That was just me. Riggs,
You're calling
are you
a lot of
sure
shots
you
here,
want to
Leish.
own a gym?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
sure you want to own a
Theme
gym?
there,
Riggs is so chill. We were at CrossFit Taurus, and I had probably been doing 6-4 for a while. And the programming, because the programming that they had at the time was kind of more just chill, and I was like, I want to be a little bit more competitive. I started to like branch off a little bit, go through commie and that, and go 6-4. And I've always really enjoyed the program. That's why we brought it into this gym here. And there was, I guess, some things, you know, like things happen at a gym, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe I could do that better, or what would I do in that situation, or like sometimes you just want to be in charge and be like, oh, I'll just change that because that suits me a little bit more. And some things I've always wondered, like, man, I wonder what it would be like to own a gym, and I wonder if I could create a cool like community, and felt like maybe I could. And I've always been into sport and stuff anyway, so I had hit up Riggs and said, like, so I'm actually a radiographer, medical imaging.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I do.
Yeah.
But mine is on hold while I've had kids, and
Right.
then we obviously bought a business, so but I actually have to go back soon before my registration lapses, even just once a week. But I branched obviously way out of that career, taking x-rays to doing this. And I said to him, oh, I'm really keen to own a gym, and his business is going really well. And so I guess that's another thing, like financially as well, it's not going to make you $1 million unless you've got a great big whatever gym, but it's more for the love, I think, of doing it.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I love CrossFit. Like, we're like, that's part of our lives now. And so I hit him up, and originally we had actually decided we were going to move to Morrinsville, and we bought a section out there.
Oh, okay.
And then we looked at, and we bought the rights to a BFT for owning a gym. And then we looked through all the BFT stuff, and it had, like, in the rules, you had to follow obviously all the franchisee stuff, and I was like, oh, and you kind of can't branch off, and it's this. I was like, it's not really CrossFit. And then once we lived out in the country a little bit before we moved out there, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to be back in town, and I want to own a CrossFit gym. And so we looked into a couple, and then it kind of went a little bit stagnant. And then I had been doing like gym classes out of our garage, and we just had people like roll around on Sunday, and we'd have a little throwdown. And then Gilly messaged me and goes, oh, when are you going to stop running them out of your gym and, you know, buy a gym? And then he's like, cool, so while we're at it, do you want to buy my gym?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it started. And I was like, oh, like maybe we could look into Taurus properly. So I came over and did some classes just to get the vibe. You know, like you step into somewhere, and I think you kind of got to meet the people, got to see what the gym's like, how things are working before you want to kind of commit to something. So I did that, and honestly, everyone was so amazing. And so then we made steps towards that and was like, right, this is what we're going to do. And Regs was pretty much like, this is you. If this is what you want to do, I'm fully supportive, help you all the way through it, whatever you need. But knowing that he had another business, and it was pretty much, this was my baby and his business was his. And then we obviously still had Frankie on top of that too. So it was being whether or not we could, I don't know, keep our heads above water and do all of the above. And so then, so we brought Taurus, and I don't know, everything just kind of went from that. Friends kind of came from other gyms as well with us, you know, like kind of just happens. You kind of go where your mates are, like Baz and Rach and things like that. But yeah, that's how we pretty much got into owning the gym. Was like, Regan, I want to own a gym. And Regan's like, cool, well, I guess we're owning a gym then. And it was funded by RCE Electrical.
Shout out Regs.
See?
He's that glue, we know.
Yeah, he is the glue. Well, he's the rock behind everything, to be fair. And like, he didn't do like he was the maintenance man or whatever, but he, you know, he was in behind the scenes, and without Regs, the gym honestly would have fallen over time and time again. I'm the stressor and he's the non-stressor. So
he's the glue.
Yeah, he is.
So even though you've just recently sold it in the last few months. How did you find being affiliate owner in New Zealand? Yeah,
it's cool, man. Like sometimes you walk into the gym and you just see people, like the music's on, the vibe's going, and people are just so into it, and like they're crushing stuff and getting PBs, and people are like, man, I learned something new, and you know, and it's just so fulfilling. Or you stand there like, I'll be coaching a class and look around, and I'm like, holy shit, this is my gym, you know, and like cool. Loved it. But then there's the flip side to it as well, and having just Frankie, having one kid at the start was definitely far easier to maintain. But once Frank got a little bit older and once we had Banks, that's when I was like, man, this is 10 times harder. And like trying to get a balance, I don't know that I ever actually found it, to be fair, between having both of the kids and giving them the time of day and a proper childhood without, you know, mum needs to go to work, mum's doing this, like, you know, and like dad comes home and dad's been at work all day, dad's tired, but dad needs to go to the gym, and then dad comes home and dad still needs to be on the computer, and you know, like, you don't want your kids to miss out on anything. And our kids, we wanted them to do swim lessons and wanted them to do athletics and wanted them to do dancing and gymnastics, and trying to fit it all in. So the gym, as much as I loved it as well, it was like messages at like 11 o'clock, and you know, you've got, I mean, you'll know, you've got your own Facebook, your own Instagram, but then there was also a Taurus 2's Facebook and Instagram, and then there was a Taurus Facebook, Instagram, email, my gym email, and you know, there's 9 or 10 platforms where people can contact you, and it's like, how do I get onto all of this? And it would be so bitsy, like Frank's at swim lesson, send a quick email, you know. I don't feel like your brain ever kind of switches off, and you're in bed and you're like, oh, time to go to sleep, but then the kids cry, and then you come back to sleep and it's like, oh, so-and-so asked me if they could have a program for this. So I grab my phone out and I'll quickly write down my notes and put it back down. And that's how my brain just ticked and ticked and ticked and ticked and wouldn't stop. And then you're always trying to, you know, oh, we need to do a social event, and oh, we need to do this, and oh, shit, Taurus 2s, we need to start organising for that. And it's so full on. And I mean, sometimes my organisation is great, and sometimes, to be fair, I like being under the pump and having something to do. Like, we've had a month now of it's only been a month of not having the gym, and the first 2 weeks was still a bit busy because it's handing over, you know, like debit success kind of stuff, like Go Cardless and things like that, debiting systems and programs and whatever. But now that it's started to pan off, I've kind of just decided I'm the manager for our Torian team. I'm like organising our kit and sending emails and being like, who wants to train? What times are we going to train this week? And sending a squat program and things, so it's kept me busy. But I said to Rex, man, after Torian, like, what's my plan? You know, like, we haven't actually talked about what's going to happen. The plan was only spend time with kids and go back to work one day a week, that I had to, and then I don't know, but my brain needs to keep going. So it's funny, like, I would get stressed out because it was ticking, but at the same time I kind of like it. Otherwise I'm like, I'm at home cleaning up the kids' toys and dishes, and that's not going to be.
It's not fulfilling.
It's not, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I love my kids, and they're like, yep, take them to the skate park, and now I'm so much more present, and I don't have to have my phone on me in case someone rings and asks for something, or, like you'll be out, I don't know, with your family, and someone flicks a message, hey, Leish, I just wanted to check something, and, but it's not coming via, because you own the gym, and you've got, say, I don't know, people have got 100 members, or 200, 150, whatever, you feel like it is 150 people that are your mates. And that I could text outside the gym and be like, hey, do you know what I mean? So the relationship goes both ways. So it's not, it's not like a Globo gym where you've got 1,000 members and you don't know anyone's names.
Yeah.
You know everyone's names.
Everyone's
You know
names,
what
yeah.
everyone's jobs pretty much are. You know things, and you touch base with their family holidays, and you follow them on social media. And so it's so much more personal. And if someone flicks you a message, even though you're busy, you feel like, oh, I should reply to this right now. Or that's a problem that someone's having and I should fix it right now. So, there's no real boundaries to be like, you're not working right now.
Yeah.
And I remember me and Riggs went to Samoa and had a holiday, and Bex had to be like to me, stop working. Like, you're on holiday and I've seen you open a message, or I'd screenshot, and she's like, cut it out, like, you just stop. And I was like, it was so hard just to stop, but it was so nice once I did. And she was so great because she just let me like fully zone out from the gym. But then it's hard because you come back and you're like, I'm on the back foot, and now we don't have as much time to figure out this and this, whatever, but massive highs, and like fun social things and games night and like bowls and things like that, and watching people just get better in general and like find their fitness, and like, when you've seen someone come in and they've had such a shit day, and they come in and then you just see the relief like flood over them, and then they're like, I feel so much better. And even seeing that's fulfilling, more fulfilling than being like, cool, this is the 56 toy, I put it back in the sink at home, or watching someone get their first pull up, and you're a part of it, and being a part of anything like that. And sometimes I think people think it's the big things, like, someone cracked a ring muscle up. Like, I'm just as stoked the first time that someone kicks the wall and does a handstand, as opposed, it's not the level, it's anything.
Growth. Just
growth. Any kind of growth, any step forward in the right direction, is so fulfilling. And it's funny because it's not even you that's getting the achievements a lot of the time, it's them, and you're like, man, this is unreal.
But you feel accomplished doing that, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a weird profession. I always found like being an affiliate owner, like especially, like I've never been a PT or anything like that, but like people, I mean, I've been told it's you're a bit of a grumpy guy at the front there, but I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy seeing other people succeed. Because like you said, you don't make very much money. So there's got to be some enjoyment there. And the enjoyment, like you said, is from seeing other people succeed. Like I really, really like to see that. I might not always look like I like that, but it's just, it's a feeling like no other. Like I sometimes go to the gym, I'm like, I'm going to clean heavy today. And I was like, I just can't be fucked to do that. Yeah. But like, if someone else wanted to do it, I'd be like, man, let's fucking do this. Like, let's get you a 1 RM clean today.
It's even that, like when someone else comes in and they have a shit day, and you're like, I know exactly how you feel. Like you can't hit PBs every single day. And be like, cool, scale the level today. Like just move, just whatever. And you're even helping them through days like that. I reckon even that's sweet,
100%. And going back to that whole being able to switch off, you definitely do. There was like the first 3 years of me being an affiliate owner, I tried to do everything, and I'm in a really good position now. It's not just me. I have other people in the business now, and like shout out to Rebecca Hill, who like handles all the emails, all the admin stuff, because I hated that stuff, but you had to do it. But like you said, I'm pretty bad on my phone as it is. But then you add all that other shit on there, I was fucking terrible on my phone. And then it really made me not want to be an affiliate owner, like all of that stuff. But
your life.
100% it does. And people like joke, they're like, oh, you work 4 hours a day. And it's like, that's funny. And I get the banter of it because I am, do 4 classes, 5 classes a day.
But it's so bits and pieces
the other
through
shit.
the day.
It's the other shit. Even put it down to public holidays. People come in. And I remember one guy complaining, you should do another class here. I'm like, you should be thankful we're even fucking open, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's a
like we'll do,
public holiday, like I'd love a day off.
yeah. I was like, we do 3 classes a day. I can't really go too far away because I've got a 6 and 9 and a 4 p.m. class. It's like I get like a little bit of a window in between. But yeah, and like
expectation. So
it's
that's
huge. Yeah.
Expectation is in the end, like coming into the last 6 months, I just felt like the expectation was through the roof. Like, and you know, like it's, I guess, people's different perception of it, and you feel like you're trying to give as much as you can, but sometimes it's like it's still not enough, or because you've set such a high standard that then people are coming and pushing the standard up and up and up, and you're like, I don't feel like I can. I'm not, like, you've put me on a pedestal, and I just can't stay on that. Yeah. You know, like the expectation I found in the end was really, really hard.
100%. Yeah, I think if I didn't let those other people in the last 2 years now, and like realize that what I'm good at is coaching and programming, but then let other people do that other stuff, I think I would have probably fucked up. Yeah.
And then after all of that, after all those responsibilities, I come in and put fucking chalk everywhere and fuck off.
Get the chalk in.
But I don't need to do that anymore.
Nah.
Shout out to Frog Grips.
Oh, yes.
Use YARNS 10 at checkout.
Wait, honestly, sometimes people are like, man, you must be making a massive commission, Leish, because you sell Frog Grips. Like, I'm like popping Skittles out with Frog Grips around here.
Sick.
I rate them so much. Like, we use them all the time. I reckon we would have, if you looked around in the gym, maybe 2 people don't have them, and every single other person has got Frog Grips.
Yeah.
Oh, they're a game changer. I had to take a leaf out of Gracie Walton's book. So I coach one elite athlete, and Gracie was saying that she has to go away from using the chalkless ones to the chalk grips now, because it was affecting her grip so much. Like she wasn't
too grippy
because they were so good. She'd get to a rope climb like, how much are you struggling at these? So her coach makes her use the white ones where you need chalk. So I've given my athlete Greer as well. She's like 3 days a week she can't use the normal frog grips.
Yeah, funny that you said it. So I was like that. I didn't use grips for ages, and I still don't use grips. Sometimes if there's toe to bar in a workout, but I'm not going to use my grips today. I don't use them for rope climbs. I don't use them for rings. If it's low set of bar muscle ups, I won't touch them. Because I had a gymnastics background, and I didn't use, in the end we use like wrist guards or whatever, and grips. But before that, I wanted my hands to be a little bit tougher. And I'm like, you go to a competition floor, and if you're so like, shit, I only train in these frog grips, and this is all I know, and my grip strength is terrible, and then, oh my God, the bar's slippery because I've got frog grips. If you can't take them off and adjust and be like, no, I'm sweet, I don't need them. If you're like reliant on something, then I feel like it can kick you in the ass.
100%.
So I say, some people, and if people ask me now, like, should I use them all the time? I'm like, they are great and they save your hands and stuff. I said, but no, I don't think you should. Like, personally, I think take them off sometimes. Get your hands used to the bar. Don't let your hands get all, like soft and whatever underneath them. Get used to holding on to the bar. So I'm the same. Not changing grips, but just not having them all the time and relying on something.
100%. Yeah,
as someone in that category of being reliant and not toughening up my hands, then you rip in a competition and the workout's over, because I'm like, well, I'm not doing pull-ups, I just rip my hands.
I need my
Nope.
Or like, I think the other year, one of the boys, the New Zealand Nationals bar is quite thick, and they jumped over with the frogs, and they were like, it's like hard.
Is it, Gilly? Is it?
A little bit. To be fair, I actually didn't mind it, to be fair, but I didn't use my grips, because I was like, oh, the bar feels different, so I was like, I'll chuck them off. But then if you didn't have that, and you weren't happy doing it, you'd be like, oh, panic mode,
Yeah, I had to ditch my grips, same thing. Like, But I wasn't conditioned. I was like, it wasn't the last year, it was the year before when they first brought that rig in, and it had a shitload of chest bars in it. And my fucking hand blew apart. But I was like, I'm way too reliant on them. But like since then though, if there's a workout that has like, let's say 3 rounds, 10 pull-ups, I'm like, well, I'm probably.
Do I need them?
Do I need them? Yeah, I do. I'm going to use them.
Do I need them? No, and here they go.
Sometimes I won't use them, but
it's more of the who else is working out. Oh, no, I need to beat him. So
I'm not competitive.
But definitely right. Massive more sets of toes to bar and things. I guess you just needed to choose your time and be smart about when you use it. I actually can't use them on ring muscle-ups. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm the same.
Well, because I like to be able to feel the bar or feel the rings underneath my hands to do it. But when I put like any kind of grip on, I don't know, that's probably just me though. But other than that, yeah, I use them.
Yeah, only the rings is the only thing I can't use grips on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that.
Kettlebell swings?
Yeah, grips on those. No.
Deadlifts, not allowed those in workout. Oh, I didn't see that. In the
I'm wrapping them around like I'm wrapping them around like fucking.
Oh, we can't use straps for those?
Yeah.
Oh, too easy. Hey, look, this has gone on for over an hour, and I feel like there's so much left here.
Oh, man.
But we probably do have to reel it in. But you guys aren't competing on the Sunday, right?
Nah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit gutted.
All right.
Like,
Part 2 coming on Sunday after Torian. We'll just track you down.
Yeah, post Sunday we'll go at it again.
We'll get the whole team on.
Go
Yeah.
on a tangent.
That's good.
People are like,
Can we get
I don't know
Regs
what
on?
she's talking about.
Yeah, is Regan
We'll get
available on
Regs on.
Sunday?
Can we book him
like,
in?
the captain.
Yeah. We'll try get the whole Taurus team on the Sunday.
Yeah, that'll be key.
Stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
Sweet.
But anyway, how we like to end these now, because we'll end it here. So we'll get your question after.
Okay.
But we've got last week's question for you, which is from
Josh Lumens.
Yeah, adaptive athlete. Do we know how he got on at semi-finals?
I've not checked in.
Josh
How about
Lumens.
that? I have not checked.
He was 7th going into semis. He had a good chance of making it, but I'm not too sure.
Are they top 10?
Eh?
Top 10
I think they're more than that now because it's Wheelwood.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
it's changed over.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So, but anyway, this comes from him. Take it away.
Yes, so Josh Lumens would like to know what makes you smile outside of CrossFit.
Oh, that's easy. Regan and my kids. But that's an easy one. But
Well,
you know,
he's also put favourite hobby, so outside of the family.
favourite hobby. Yeah, what? Oh, CrossFit? Nah.
Outside of the gym?
It's like weightlifting different.
I run.
Actually, I don't know. To be fair, don't put me down for running, especially not with Regan because he's too fast.
Or Trav.
Because he won't let me walk 20
Yeah,
steps.
yeah.
It was only 20, Trav. Golf, we actually do it. Like we haven't been playing that much, but we decided the other day we're like, we should take the kids and try and put them in the cart and see if we can go. So we played last weekend and this weekend. And Frank's 5, and honestly, she's pretty good behind the wheel. We'd be like, cool, we'll just park up, drive around there, don't go across the green, and then, stop up there. And she'd be like, yeah. Like, she's so small, but, she loved it. And getting the kids outside to do it, honestly, it was so good.
Yeah, hard out. What courses you play?
We played, in the weekend we played in Morrinsville, and then the weekend before we played at Horsham Downs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but on my drive's terrible, man. I'm like, I need some lessons on a drive. Don't mind an iron, but I'm not good on a putt either.
What is it, power or keeping it straight?
Honestly, it's just getting the ball off the tee. And I'm like, I'm about as good at golf as I am at tennis, which is, again, horrible. Any racket, anything, I'm just, don't put me down for that. But no, outside of the gym, to be fair, we just like to get our kids outside and doing things, if anything, like swimming, going down to the beach. Like if we're at the mount, we're at the beach all the time, or we're at the playground, or trying to keep our kids away from a tablet and that kind of stuff. At the moment, they've decided that the skate park's their new thing, and they're off on a scooter. And like last night, picked them up from preschool, and Banks was like, "Mum, we go skate park," and I was like, awesome, we've got a roast chicken in the oven. I'd like to also not burn our house down. I was like, surely we've got 40 minutes, so we risked that. And I was like looking for black smoke in the sky. But I don't know, staying active, being outside with our kids. But they, you do, everything you're doing is pretty much for them, trying to teach them to be better people. And it's actually funny though, they're only used to a gym. And we said we need to start playing some kind of team sport because I don't want them. CrossFit, yes, you can have some team side of it, but they're not actually, like, we grew up with touch and my old man playing rugby and things like that, but they're not actually getting, they're not actually around that. And now I'm like, okay, we need to start pulling them into things like, Banksy watched his cousin play basketball and we watched her play hockey, and I was like, right, we need to make moves. So I don't know, let's see what me and Reeks decide that we're going to do next as a sport.
Yeah.
Just for their sake, I guess.
Yeah. No,
Oh, well, if you're at the Mount quite a bit, there's that new skate park at the Mount looks pretty.
Is it?
It's like opposite New World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen that.
That looks
being
pretty
built.
sick.
Yeah, well,
Makes
you
me want to
see
get a
our
scooter.
Our kids down there, Banks on his like 3-wheel scooter with the big lean off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one in TA? They just upgraded the Tiamuru one.
Oh, send
They
me,
did it.
There's like
drop
a
me a little pin for
there's
that.
like
I'll
a
take them out there.
parkour bit next to it, a basketball court.
Oh,
And
they
they-
did that a couple of years ago.
Did they? I
Well,
don't
the
know.
basketball court.
The
Was it
basketball
like a
court
half
was
court?
there ages ago. Yeah. But there's like a parkour thing now, and the whole skate park's been done up.
Oh, parkour.
It's sick. Yeah. TA's got it.
TA's bougie.
That's got it.
Hey, you don't
TA's
go to the
bougie.
mountain.
Where that little skate park is, because we'll go. Or otherwise, honestly, our kids will be on a motorbike. Frank's 5 and can barely hold a motorbike up. And the other day she's like, I'm going to ride the motorbike today.
Mean.
And Regs had to chase her down the farm, being like, oh, because if she stops,
Keep it
it's
upright.
like too big.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be down the farm. Their grandparents have farms, so
Yeah, mean.
anything like that, outside, just outside.
How
That's
good.
the one.
Well,
Oh.
anything else to add?
Take 2 after Torian.
Yeah. We'll get the other half of the story.
Yeah.
Before we do sign off, anyone you want to give a quick shout out?
Honestly, someone I would like to make a shout out to is, we were talking before, it made me think of it, like having the gym. The gym for the last 3 years, or 3.5 years that we had it, I couldn't have run it in the last 2 without Bex, Trav's Bex.
Right, yeah.
Twinson.
Yeah.
She honestly was the backbone, and if she knew I was getting stressed out, she'd take over things. And another lady is Tash as well. So if it wasn't for Tash, she would look after my kids as well, like what
Tash
she does now. Tash Cranmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she helped out with, I don't know, like she picked up extra coaching hours and things like that, even when it didn't really work for her schedule, or watched our kids and things. But the 2 of them honestly helped me through a hell of a lot with the gym. And that's what I mean, you need the people. And then again, we had amazing staff. You know, like when you put up a post and like, shit, I can't make it. And there's 3 people message back, I'm like, I've got it. Totally fine. Do you know what I mean? And like, people would help out with weekends and things. So all of our staff at CrossFit Taurus, honestly, and shout out to all our members, like the gym is not what it is without those people. You know, people say, oh, this is such a cool vibe. Yeah, because you guys did it. It's not the owner who's doing it. It's by having every single one of you in the gym creating that and buying into a community. Without the members, like your gym's nothing.
Awesome.
So shout out to every single person that steps foot into our gym. Like, I honestly love every single one of them. It's not a single person at our gym I was like, oh man, whatever. Like, everyone's just great.
Yeah.
And all our coaching staff have just been great too.
Awesome.
No, that's wicked.
Great place to leave it.
Oh, I went to school with Bex.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, small world.
Taught her how
2
to play
degrees.
touch.
You see, did come through touch circles, eh? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
too old. I must have been out of it before she got into it.
Touch, netball, she was all over the show.
Yeah,
But
well,
no, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's playing high rep netball now as well.
I met Bex when her and Trav, they were fresh as, because Bex and my partner Niv are real good friends. And this is going back years. Niv was still working at the helm. But yeah, that was back when Bex and Trav had just, they were
got
pretty
together.
new. They were pretty new, yeah. Yeah, I remember meeting Trav at the helm there. Yeah,
Yeah, she's a great
she's a
time.
small world.
Very small world.
She's so hard to, man, she works so hard with everything as well.
Right,
Wicked. Oh,
let's leave it there.
Yeah, we'll see you at
thanks,
Torian.
Steve.
Yeah.
Let's go.
T
Keep an eye out
minus
for
a
them.
few days until we're out on the floor, hoping we don't die.
But we're going next Monday.
Oh, yes, we leave on Tuesday because
Oh, yeah.
we actually asked our kids, someone said, oh, why are you guys going to Australia? And they said, because we're going to Australia Zoo. They know nothing about the competition. They couldn't give a shit. They just want to go to the zoo. So
The
Oh,
zoo
yeah,
is
nice.
sick,
we're going
by
early
the
so
way.
we can go to Australia
It
Zoo.
is so cool. I just had an idea. Torian childcare.
Potty at the zoo.
No. Torian childcare. The amount of athletes that have kids going.
Yeah. It's hard, man.
Someone set it up.
Yeah. No, I'm taking my parents over.
All
so
right.
that they
There you
can
go.
watch our
There's
kids.
Torian
Because I
childcare.
learned from the first tour and I was like, no, I can't do this again.
Yeah.
That was too hard.
Right. Let's actually sign off now. Stop going off in tangents.
Beauty. Thanks, team.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. All right. Bye.